It was the kind of evening that wrapped the city in gold. The ballroom glowed with crystal chandeliers, and violin music danced softly through the air. Guests in tailored suits and flowing gowns clinked champagne glasses, unaware that one moment was about to shift the course of a man's life. Elliot Graham stood near the center, untouched by the glamour. As the 45-year-old CEO of a Fortune 500 tech empire, he was no stranger to wealth or applause. Tonight's charity gala was in his honor. But beneath the surface, Elliot lived a quiet contradiction, loved by millions, yet haunted by the choice that made him who he was. 10 years ago, Elliot walked away from a woman named Maya and their unborn child. He told himself it was necessary. He had just landed the investment that would skyrocket his company. Maya deserved more than a man drowning in 18-hour workdays and business wars, he had reasoned. So he left, with a cold email and no goodbye. Tonight, he barely remembered her face. Only the shame lingered. "Excuse me, sir," a soft voice interrupted his thoughts. Elliot turned, expecting another admirer or ambitious startup founder. Instead, he saw a little girl, no older than 9, in a blue satin dress and sparkly shoes. Her curls bounced as she looked up at him with wide, unblinking eyes. "My name is Alina," she said, then paused, as if rehearsing her next line. "Can I ask you something?" Elliot, surprised but amused, crouched down. "Sure, Alina. What's on your mind?" She took a deep breath. "Are you Elliot Graham?" "Yes," he replied, smiling politely. Her voice trembled. "My mom told me that you're my dad." Time stopped. Elliot's ears rang. For a moment, he thought he'd misheard. Or maybe it was a cruel prank. But as he looked closer at her face, the dimple on her left cheek, the way her eyes curved into half-moons when she smiled, it hit him like a tidal wave. She looked like Maya. Elliot stood up slowly, searching the crowd with panicked eyes. Then, he saw her, Maya. Standing at the edge of the ballroom, dressed simply in a pale green dress, holding back tears. She hadn't aged much, but there was a quiet strength about her now. She met his eyes and nodded once, as if to say, "Yes, it's true." "I didn't mean to scare you," Alina said, mistaking his silence for rejection. I saw you in the magazine. I told Mom I wanted to meet you. She didn't want to come. But I asked and asked." Elliot knelt back down, his voice barely a whisper. "You're not scaring me, sweetheart. I didn't know." "She never told you," Alina said gently. "She didn't want anything from you. She just wanted me to be happy." A waiter brushed past, the clink of glass snapping Elliot back into the present. He stood up, heart pounding, and walked toward Maya. The crowd seemed to part for him, their chatter dimming to a low hum. "Maya," he said when he reached her. She nodded again, her voice calm. "She begged me to bring her. I didn't want to cause a scene. But I thought, maybe you'd want to meet her." Elliot's eyes welled. "Why didn't you tell me?" "You were building an empire," she said softly. "And I was building a life, for her. I never wanted to interrupt your world." Elliot looked back at Alina, who was twirling slowly under the chandelier, lost in her own little world. Then he looked at Maya again. "I missed everything." "Yes," she replied, not unkindly. "But it's not too late to be something. Not everything, but something." That night, Elliot skipped the speech. He left behind the applause and the awards and walked hand in hand with Maya and Alina to a quiet diner a few blocks away. Over pancakes and hot cocoa, they talked. About favorite cartoons. About the dog Alina wanted. About what Maya had endured, raising a daughter alone, working 3 jobs, and choosing dignity over bitterness. By the end of the night, Elliot wasn't a CEO. He was just a man discovering what mattered. Weeks passed. The headlines changed. Tech tycoon takes leave for personal reasons. Elliot Graham funds scholarships for single mothers. CEO caught on camera at local school talent show. Alina had sung, "You Are My Sunshine." He cried through the whole thing. Bit by bit, he became part of her world. Not as a replacement, but as a presence. He learned how to braid hair. He showed up for every parent-teacher meeting. He apologized to Maya, not just in words, but in actions, every single day. One afternoon, a year later, Alina handed him a card. On the front, she had drawn stick figures, a girl, her mom, and a man holding their hands. Inside it said, "Thank you for choosing us back." "I never deserved you," Elliot whispered. "But you're trying," she said. "That counts." And maybe that was the point. Life doesn't always give us second chances. But when it does, they're wrapped in the quiet courage of forgiveness and the hope of healing. Elliot had lost a decade, but he had gained a lifetime. And as he walked Alina to school each morning, her small hand wrapped in his, he realized, in the end, success wasn't measured in stocks or headlines. It was measured in bedtime stories, late-night talks, and a little girl who called him Dad, not because she had to, but because he'd finally earned it.